Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the host of your show today, which is Women in Business. We have a very, very special guest joining us from the UK. She's actually celebrating a very big milestone, which we're going to talk about very soon. So let's welcome Mandy Nicholson. She's known as the Creative Genius Consultant. Let's talk to her about what that means and what she's celebrating. Welcome, Mandy. Hello.
Hi, nice to be here.
It's fabulous to have you. So where in the UK are you?
I'm actually in Scotland, and it's a little bit chilly this evening.
And I told you I'm in Florida, and I'm literally dripping with sweat. It's so funny. But anyway, one thing that's definitely hot is what you have just accomplished as an Amazon #1 best-selling author. Tell us a little bit about this journey.
Okay, so yes, this journey, and you will see behind me the Beyond the Ordinary poster. This is a collaboration book that I have created this year with myself as the main author and 30 ladies coming in, creative and neurodivergent women telling their stories. It's now available on Kindle. It will be available on paperback and hardback by the end of the week. And we hit the Amazon #1 bestseller slot about 12 hours after launch. So it was a really exciting time for us this week.
That is such an incredible feeling. And for people who don't know, if they have never written a book, they're not self-published on Amazon, no one calls you or sends you an email or comes to your door and says, hey, by the way, you made it. You have to continuously check every single hour to see if you have that little flag, which is such an incredible feeling, and then take a screenshot or a picture of it. So when you found out that this happened, whether you were the one checking or someone else, what came to mind for you in that moment?
I mean, I was speaking. We actually launched the book at a big event called Social Impact Live, and I was the keynote speaker. And I was actually speaking when somebody held the phone up and said, Mandy, you're going to want to know this. And we had 20 of the authors in the room, and the room just erupted. So it was really high energy, and a lot of people were happy all at the same time. So that's what I set out to do, and we did it.
I love that. I love that commitment to excellence and the professionalism where you're saying to people, I'm your leader, but we're a team and we're going to make it happen. And boom, there it is. There it's happening. Yep. So we talked a little bit about Sage briefly, just about creativity. Mm-hmm. And some people are aware of their creativity. Other people are not aware. Some people think, wow, I'd be great in business, but I can't be creative, or I'm really creative, but I couldn't be good in business. And you actually help people realize that they can be both. So tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, this is why I stepped up to the plate. I call myself the Creative Genius Consultant because I work with creative geniuses and always women. I work with women. I've made that choice now. I've got my own business. And women really struggle with their creativity, and that a lot of them are creative, and then they have children, and then they have marriages and maybe careers that they don't want. 70% of women that are creative or went through university with a creative subject end up in administrative roles. many of them never do what they set out to do, and they can be hitting their 40s, 50s, 60s and feeling unfulfilled because they've not used that creativity. So I stepped up, and you know, my passion is helping these women see themselves and see their genius. I hold a mirror up for them so they can see that they are capable of not only being creative, but monetizing it.
I love what you just shared, that you hold a mirror up for them. That's beautiful. I've not heard that before. Mm-hmm. So Mandy, do you work with women from around the world, and are you able to work virtually? How does that process work?
Yes, my Creative Mastermind program, which is the best way I can help women, which is a 12-month program, is mainly online. So there's a 12-month program with an online platform with Zoom coaching, group coaching, and one-to-one coaching. We have tech support, mindset support. The only thing that's restricted if you're in another country is being able to come to the UK, to Scotland, for a creative retreat, which is included in the mastermind. However, we have planes and you can fly to Scotland, so there's nothing stopping people enjoying all parts of the mastermind.
That sounds like a true gift to be able to do that as part of the program. I absolutely love it. And for our audience only, we are actually over on Mandy's website, which is Mandy Nicholson, as her name is spelled, co.uk/work-with-me. So you can find out all about her programs here: Creative Mastermind, Money Mindset Makeover course, and so many more. So you've made it very easy for people to work with you. Obviously, you know what you're doing. You have your keynote speaker, and you have this incredible project, this book project. What are some of the other ways, in addition to the retreats, that you're able to really tap into that creative genius of your clients, or help them tap into it, really?
Yeah, it is helping them tap into it. So many ways. I mean, I do work one-to-one with people. I would rather work with them in the group format on the mastermind, because the connections that are made in that creative community when creative women come together are building lifetime relationships and friendships that will help them through their business. They support each other outside of me. They create these little pods and they support each other. So I've got crafters, and I've got artists, and I've got authors, and even people with VA businesses and non-traditionally creative businesses who support each other. So I think the best way is to speak to me and say, this is what I need, and I will have something.
Absolutely brilliant. Mandy, something that comes to mind that I experienced myself as an entrepreneur, and we've had people here being interviewed, is we feel, I'm using we just as a big term, we feel we're not worth our value. And I know for me, it was so hard for me to ask people for money. The first year I was live streaming, I didn't even charge anyone anything. And meanwhile, I'm spending 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? But I thought, oh, I haven't earned the right. I have to do this first, or I have to do that first. So how do we get past that imposter syndrome, or that feeling of, I'm just not good enough? Why would anyone pay me?
I think that's probably the biggest problem I encounter with the creative women that I work with, not seeing their value or their worth. And they're selling paintings for pennies, and they're selling crafting products that take hours to make for nothing. And they're not seeing the value of their knowledge that they can then exchange for currency in terms of teaching people. So value is the first thing I look at. Everybody that comes to me starts off by undercharging, and it's a process to get them to see their worth. Because it's just ingrained, isn't it? Society tells us that we're not going to make any money from being an artist, that we're going to be poor artists, starving artists. It's like a red thread that runs through society. It was quite trendy at one point to be a poor artist, and I think it still exists today.
I think you're right. And an analogy that comes to mind, and it's really based in the States, but I'm sure you have some comparables there in the UK, is we have a store called Macy's. It's a chain, across the States. And then, of course, there's Neiman Marcus. And you can walk in Neiman's and you're not going to see a lot of people in there, but you can go into Macy's and they've got everything's on sale. You're like, how are they even staying in business? It's unbelievable. And yet you go into Neiman's and you see a few select people there. So my point is that there are certain coaches, for example, I met one, she was charging $6,500 an hour. And I thought, that's unbelievable. And I thought, that's amazing. Like, what could she be sharing for $6,500 an hour? So she had a free consultation, and I took part in it. And I just asked her, and she said, because somebody paid it. So now I have the right to charge it. So my question for you is, when we think about starving artists, or we think about entrepreneurs and we don't really know our value, we have the Macy's mindset instead of the Neiman Marcus. What has to happen? What are the steps, per se, or accomplishments that could help us believe we're worth $6,500 an hour, $10,000, $20,000, whatever it might be? Are there things that we have to do other than somebody said they'll pay it and they did?
Yeah, I think definitely for artists and creatives. I always start by saying, let's go and have a look at the artists' union rates of pay that you should be charging per hour as an absolute minimum. And let's have a look at how long it takes you to create a piece. Let's start with the very basics of, are you charging for that painting that took you 10 hours, 10 times the minimum rate plus the cost of all your materials? And no, they are not charging that. And that it starts there, doesn't it? Of understanding that. And then really it's about demand. So I suppose a good current example is, I have a client who is an environmental artist who paints on anything that isn't tied down that we would normally throw away. And she paints on used tea bags. They're used, she empties them, she dries them, she irons them, she does miniature landscapes. And she was charging £18 for them. And I said, go and hang out in environmental groups and recycling groups. And she was picked up by a journalist. She's now been on the TV, on radio, and she's now charging 4 times that for this little tea bag with a painting on. And I still think she's undercharging, but it's a process of moving her through, seeing the value that other people see.
That's really fascinating. I love to hear stories like that somebody's out of the box thinking and they become a huge success. Now, we're going to segue back to your book. I want to learn more about who are the creative collaborators in the book.
Okay, so it's one of those funny things. I thought, I've got this book. I had a freebie on my website. It's still there. It's called The Mind of a Creative. You can even download it today. It's been my most popular freebie. And it's 35 observations of what I saw in creative women, the behaviors that I saw that often cropped up. And I kept looking at it thinking, that's a book, 35 observations, that's 35 chapters. And I've written those chapters over the last couple of years. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to intersperse stories in between those chapters? And I put a post out looking for 30 people and got 160 people apply. And, I then was able to interview and bring through these women. And most of them are creative and or neurodivergent, because there's a huge connection between neurodivergence and creativity. Most of the creatives I come across are ADHD or autistic, or don't know that they are and haven't been diagnosed. There's a huge connection. So that's what the book ended up being about. And there's stories in there about how people have struggled with their ADHD or the neurodiversity or the creativity. And woven in amongst those topics are the other things that happen to women, like menopause, like breast cancer, like addictions that come with neurodiversity, and lots of other really deep, and domestic violence. There's some really difficult subjects that we've tackled in this book that are women's stories. So that's what came out of bringing this group of women together. And I have laughed, I have cried, I have felt inspired, I've had hope. And these women shared very, very raw, difficult stories. And part of that for them was a healing process of being able to tell their story and get it out there and help other people. And that's been the purpose, really. We're now creating a bit of a mission to help others.
That's truly life-changing when you give someone the opportunity to share their story, and it can impact their health, the way they look at life, their relationships. So congratulations to you and to all the collaborators. That's beautiful. One thing I wanted to ask you is, I know when I was in corporate and I retired in 2020, there was not a lot of women who were saying, hey, let me help you. Let me give you a lift. That was kind of like bang, bang, this stuff in the back. And it seems, I don't know, as a result of the pandemic or what it might be, but now it seems so many women are coming forth and saying, let me help you. What can I do for you? How have you seen this transition, if you've seen it at all there in the UK?
I've definitely seen it in the UK. Lots of women are coming together now, sharing their stories. And part of me being a keynote speaker just on Friday was the relationships that I've built with other women who are also in business along the way, through networking, through connection. I think we actually have each other's backs a hell of a lot more now than we ever used to. And we want each other to succeed. And I think that's a big shift.
I agree with you. I think there's something that's so empowering and liberating when you make a connection or you offer to do something for someone. And I know different men that I've known from corporate and otherwise are like, did you charge for that? How much time did you spend? So why aren't you making more money? Why are you doing everything for free? And I don't think of it as doing things for free. I think of it as at some point, it will come back to you, because whomever you're helping, they're going to help someone, and so on and so on and so forth. So what are you finding in your own community there of the collaborators, people who attended your retreats, people who are your clients? How are they really holding together as a community?
I think it's huge. I think there's a ripple effect, isn't there? I see it as an exchange of energy when you help somebody. Sometimes we charge for things, sometimes we don't, but there's always an exchange of energy. And that energy, if it's positive, which it always should be, should always send out a ripple effect and enable others to see the value in connection and the value in sharing their knowledge and their expertise. And I've seen that happening around. Maybe that's who I've surrounded myself with, but I see it all the time in my world.
And something that comes up for me when we were talking before about the imposter syndrome, and when it comes to money, sometimes in terms of helping other people, we feel, oh, I don't know anything. What could I know to, this person's done this and that and the other. How am I going to be able to help them? Only to find out that if we ask questions and we listen, we can definitely add value. It's that listening piece that I think we get so nervous and caught up with that we are no longer actually present with the person. We're just thinking of all of our own insecurities.
Yeah, it can be a huge barrier. And I had that with some of the ladies who actually joined to collaborate with the book. Who'll be interested in my story? Who wants to know what happened to me? And I keep saying, look, we're really nosy as human beings. We're the ones who look in people's windows when we're walking up the high street. We want to know what's going on behind those curtains. So don't ever underestimate what people want to know about you.
Absolutely. Now, a question I have in terms of being an entrepreneur, I've written a number of books and Amazon #1 bestseller, but not a lot of book sales, to be honest with you. So my mindset, I just decided to start giving my books out as calling cards, as, here's some information, some education. What do you think about that as a process? Is that something you would coach people on, or basically say, no, we're going to figure out a way for this book to be a revenue stream for you, another source of income, or it's a credibility factor?
I think it's a bit of both, because my other book, The Life I Won, is more of a fiction book. It's my story, how I lost everything and then rebuilt my life. And that one has brought so many clients to me. They've bought it and come to me. Whereas this one, I see it as exchanging again, helping out, stepping into charities, people who are working with neurodivergent people. I think there's a balance there that you can strike with a bit of both. I think you've got to be open to being able to share your book as a lead magnet, because it is a lead magnet.
Yes, absolutely. So I like the fact that it could go either way. I mean, obviously, if you can make some money from it, yay! But you're basically leaving those breadcrumbs around for other people. And what I think is really fabulous, and I'm just wondering if you've heard this yet or experienced it yourself, is when a complete stranger reaches out to you and says, "Wow, I read your book, and this is what," or they take a picture of themselves with the book. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I love that. I love it when people come to me and do that. And when you get a message from somebody, I read your book and it changed my life, and I never even knew they'd read it. It's just such a great feeling. And I love writing books. I've got, a few books and lots of low content books like planners and journals and things. And I think they all add value and they find your people along the way.
Yes, yes, it's very true. So this process that you use, because you said 160 people applied, which is incredible. How did you decide who was going to be the final 30, who was going to be in that community?
I think, well, first of all, when you get 160 people apply, half of them are going to drop off pretty quickly because they've liked the idea, but they've not really thought about the amount of work they've got to do. So you can pretty much cut that in half. And then I basically, some of them I knew because they were clients, and I jumped on calls with them and spoke to them about deadlines and how much they had to write. And it's a natural filter process, I think. The ones who really want to do it, the ones who really want to share their stories, and the ones who want to get behind the project are the ones that end up in the book.
I agree with you. It's that passion. It's the people who are willing to make that commitment and go the extra mile, because sometimes it feels good. It sounds nice to be part of something, but then when you realize you have to make an effort, it's not so much. So I didn't ask you this before the show, but would you like to read from your book or books? Do you have any there you'd like to read from?
I haven't got any yet because it's only on Kindle. So I can't read from the Beyond the Ordinary book, which is a shame. I could lean over and get one of my books.
Please, I'll take you off for a second. While she's getting her book, please do subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV and Radio. Okay, Mandy is back with us. Hello, Mandy. Welcome back.
Yes, I have this one, which is my first book, The Life I Won, and it has my artwork on the cover. This is the one that is a fiction. It's the story of what happened to me, but written in a fictional way. So I've changed the names to protect the innocent, shall we say, and changed some of the dates. So would you like me to go ahead and read?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So chapter 1, 4th of March, 2009. This chapter's called Crash. As Mandy King awoke that morning, she knew that today was going to be another battle. Outside, it was gloomy. The air was thick, and when she emerged from her crumpled bed before the alarm even signaled 5 a.m., every single step felt sluggish. There were way too many 5 a.m.s in her working week. However, start the day she must. Being the main breadwinner, responsibility weighed heavy on her to provide for her family, but she couldn't help wondering how her life had gone from facing every day with excitement and anticipation to dreading it. What seemed like yesterday, Mandy was flying high in a career that she had seemed to just fall into and enjoyed every second of. As a successful top executive in her company, she had broken through the misogyny and put female managers firmly in the picture. Never afraid to take on a challenge and embracing every problem as an opportunity, she had been a well-respected role model and change maker. Headhunted twice by global companies, she was really making a mark and earning a six-figure package. Every day had felt like an adventure, and the alarm clock was an unnecessary tool replaced by adrenaline, expectation, and achievement. Driving her onwards and upwards was her natural-born talent as a leader, motivating and inspiring others with ease, and with charisma in abundance. So why, on this dreary, dark, and ominous morning, did she feel like she had nothing to keep going for?
Woo! Drum roll, please. And then the movie trailer comes out, and there's Mandy. I love it. Have you thought about making it into a screenplay or a movie or anything?
I have been asked. It's a trilogy, you see. This is the thing. It's such a big story that's just book one. There are two more. Book two's half written, and book three, I'm living it now in my mini castle in Scotland. So there's a lot happened in my life. So yeah, I think it probably would, but I've not done anything about that yet.
Well, maybe put that on the list because I think that would be really worthwhile. You know, I love what you share because as a woman, I felt that way myself. And I know others who have, that you think, you know, you look at all the little tick marks, all the certificates, all the education, all the awards, and yet inside you feel something is missing. And you try to fix it or stuff your feelings. But working with somebody like you, I think you help people really look and see, okay, it's okay to feel this way, 10 minutes, And then let's move on because we have things to accomplish and people to help, right?
Yeah, and it is that. It's that's what I said about the mirror. It's helping people to see this magic that they have inside them that they don't necessarily see yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you were reading that, what was coming up for you? What kind of feelings?
Oh, that was taking me back because it was 2009 and it was a different time and a different place. And my life has changed so much since then, so much. Because this book tells the story of a series of unfortunate events that took me from a 6-figure corporate career to rock bottom, to living in a social housing with my 2 kids and 2 dogs, having lost my marriage, all my money, my dad, multiple things in my life, all the worst things that can happen to you, that list, everything within 12 months. So that's how big a story it is. And it takes me back now. And I think about that life and don't recognize that woman.
So tremendous growth,
yeah.
Tremendous self-awareness and a gratitude, really.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So grateful for where I am, even though along the way, there have still been awful things that have happened and bad things that have happened and people that I've lost. That's just life. If there's one thing I learned during that story with that woman is life's always going to slam dunk you along the way.
That's so true. And Mandy, as you know, we provide education here. So there might be someone watching or listening right now or in the future, and they need to hear something. If they go from the life I want to rock bottom, what are some things that you can share based on your experience to help them take a step? Because sometimes, for example, where I go to work out, there's a homeless woman and she's got a shopping cart and she's there every day. And I want to go and ask her, what can I do to help you? But there's some fear. I don't know what it is that's, when you see someone like that, in fact, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to go and say something today. But when you see someone or you are that person, it might just take the smallest bit of hope or just some compassion or just someone sitting to listen. What would you share for somebody out there going through that?
And I would say it is just that small first step. When I ended up at rock bottom and I had lost everything, all of my money, all of my belongings, my car, I was in social housing, I had nothing, but I had my brain. I had what I knew. And it was taking that one small step to say, I'm not going to stay here. This is just the new foundation and I'm not going to stay here and I'm going to rebuild. And I stopped calling it my council house or social housing and started calling it my little castle by the sea because it was only 90 seconds from the beach. And I started reframing what I had because it could have been worse. I was one step away from that homeless woman, but I wasn't her. So I was lucky.
I love how you use that word reframe. You reframed the situation. You took on a different perspective. And I know something that I think about quite often, not why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me? What can I do with this opportunity? So let's go back to the book again, Beyond the Ordinary. And with your hat as a creative genius consultant, are you planning on subsequent books where other people out there could have an opportunity to apply?
It's funny you should say that. Yes, I didn't think that at the start, but it's been such a wonderful project to put together. The stories are amazing. And this is Beyond the Ordinary, talking about the power of creative and neurodivergent women, but there's also the power in creative and neurodivergent men. And I have spoken, my son is autistic and my daughter is autistic. My daughter's got a chapter in this book, but my son hasn't. So maybe there's another book or more than one book in this series yet. Who knows?
I think there's at least one more, it sounds like to me. So if we had the 30 women here, if we had some of them here and were to say to them, how has this changed your life? Or how have you grown as a person? What are some of the feedback that or references that people would give as a part of being part of your project?
I think it's, I would say they would say, Mandy, you've given me confidence. Telling my story took courage and you've given me confidence. In fact, 6 of them read their stories out at the event that I was a keynote speaker at on Friday because I arranged it that they could. And it was the hardest thing some of them have ever done, but they came away empowered. I could see the air fill in their lungs as they were sharing their story to that audience. And I think for me, I've given them more confidence.
That is beautiful. And that's so empowering. What was your experience the first time that you were a keynote speaker?
I've done it so many times, I can't even, because I did it. When you're in corporate world, you do it a lot, don't you? You do speak in front of audiences, small and bigger. But this time was a different audience of women, of business owners. And it was a very different talk, if you like. So it wasn't business focused. It was more emotionally focused. And that's different. And I enjoyed that a whole lot more, being able to share how things make you feel rather than just money, 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 money.
Absolutely. Getting away from that whole money conversation. I want to move on to your retreats. Now, I know some people who go to religious retreats where there's no talking, there's no phones. I know some people go to yoga retreats. There's all different types of retreats. What kind of retreats do you facilitate and lead?
So these are very special retreats. You come to Scotland, which is beautiful to start off with. And you come here and spend 4 days with me in my mini castle. And I call it my mini castle because I had a castle on my vision board and the universe put this place right in front of me. It's a former bank, which is why it's called the Art Bank. And I have 3 themed rooms. That's the Monet room that's on the screen at the moment. I have a Picasso room and a Van Gogh room. So they're all themed on my favorite artists. And you come here and you stay in that luxurious space that's very colorful. And I take people to the forest to paint, and we feel the energy of the forest and we get it on canvas. We go to the beach. They paint and do projects here. They leave their mark by painting a brick in my garden wall or a panel on one of the old doors, which now are an art project in the garden. And for 4 days, I take them outside their comfort zone with creativity. They may come here thinking they're not creative, but they're leaving with a canvas or 2.
That's beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. Congratulations. So how far in advance do people have to book, or when do these opportunities for retreats come?
The dates for 2025 are just being released now, and I've already sold 2. So that's great. I do 9 retreats a year, so 1 a month from March to September, and 3 to 5 women can come on each retreat. It's 3 if you don't want to share a room. If you come in with a friend and you're sharing, which I had a lot of last year, we can take 5 women. It's a small and intimate group where we can spend lots of time talking and analyzing and really just having a go at things without feeling uncomfortable. And that makes all the difference.
So just to summarize about the retreats, there are 9 retreats a year. There are no more for this year, I imagine. They're sold out, but you have them for next year.
No, this year we sold out in January. We did really quickly. So, yeah, and we've already sold a couple for next year already. But the dates are going out in the next couple of weeks. We've not advertised them yet for next year, but they're already selling. So
since we're on the business show and many people have tried foraying or going into retreats and got nowhere, I haven't tried it yet. What's your key to success in selling out these retreats, Mandy?
I think it's sharing the story. I mean, when they come here, they don't just do art. They also leave with a mind map for their life or their business. And it's word of mouth. People are already talking about me on social media. I share everything. I've been on 4 in a Bed, which is a big UK TV program. They phoned me out of the blue. I went on 4 in a Bed and I did the wacky painting in the forest with the guests on there. And I think it's just constantly being visible and sharing your story. I'm known as the woman with, I'm known as the castle lady with the retreats. So it's what you're known for.
So that's your branding, the castle lady.
It's not, but it ended up that way because I shared my story so often through social media of I'm going to get a castle in Scotland, and I ended up with a mini castle and it just became a thing.
We have an expression here. I don't know if it's just in the States, but a man's home is his castle. But what I like to think about is that my heart is a castle, right? There's some walls around it. And depending on what you've been through, the walls could be really thick. I don't know. But what does a castle mean to you other than it's a physical building?
I think for me, it was about a traditional space to be able to bring people to that felt luxurious, but felt homely, that felt like it was protective in encompassing them inside it. It was all of those things. But also, I also say to all of my clients, what's your castle? Your castle doesn't have to be a castle. It can be a tea bag. It can be, what is your castle? What's the thing you're going to hang your hat on?
Yeah. What is it that gets you up in the morning that you're passionate about? I know for me, it's this broadcasting. Yeah. So I want to just look at your LinkedIn. So for anybody out there, it's Mandy Nicholson on LinkedIn. And I just want to go over to this top area here, Creative Genius Consultant, helping creative women to make more money. Okay, so my question for all those potential prospects and people who can join your community is, what does an engagement with you as a coach look like? And how long does a person expect it to take? Obviously, they have to be committed and driven to make more money.
I've worked with people for 3 months and they've gone out and quadrupled their sales on a one-to-one basis. So it can look like that. The Creative Mastermind is a 12-month investment in time, and I have 100% success rate. I am going to say that there's nobody gone out of the other end of the mastermind and failed. They all have successful businesses, but what is success for one person is not for another. So that not all of the creatives in the world want to be millionaires. That's not success for them. I have one lady, and I will give you a quick description of her because she is doing so amazing. Her name's Penny. When she came to me, she was ready to throw her paintbrushes in the bin and give up because she'd never made money from her art. But in conversation through the mastermind, I was like, what brings you the greatest joy? And she said, well, I love painting with groups of people, doing one canvas and getting everybody to participate. And for me, that was, let's build a business model that helps you do events. And within a day, she passed a sign for a wedding fair, went to it. They invited her in. She took her easel out and she created a business called the Signature Canvas. And she now does she goes to weddings and creates a canvas with all the guests. It's like a guest book on the wall. Where the bride and groom choose their color scheme, whether they want a field of flowers or a forest, and she creates that with the guests. And she now only has to work 1 day a week doing that, and she makes £5,000 a month, which for her is like gold.
Yeah, that's such an important point that you brought out, and I just want to share something about that. When I left corporate to go out on my own, of course, the men I worked with are like, oh, idiot, she's doing, wasting her time. And then you run into them later. And the first question is, how much money are you making? That's always the first question, not how happy are you? How fulfilled are you? Because I know for myself, no, I don't make the 6+ whatever I was making, but I've never been happier. This is a true calling. So there's value in that. In the old Kodak commercial, it's priceless. So I think the work that you're doing is definitely priceless, because by holding that mirror up for women to look into it and realize, wow, I have something to offer, I have something to give, and there's somebody here to hold my hand and help me. So my last question on this topic is, how involved are you in that coaching process? So if somebody needs a little more attention and somebody else is more hands-off, how does that work?
That's the joy of it. It's my business. I can do it however I like. And some people do need more and some people do need less. And I think we're too fixed on, I've got a coaching program, it looks like this, you get this many coaching sessions, and that's it. If somebody needs more, I was in corporate like you, and as a senior leader, if you put 30 team members in front of me, they all needed different amounts of coaching and training and guidance. And it's exactly the same with clients. So I like to say that it's very bespoke. And if somebody needs me, I'm going to be there for them because I want them to succeed.
I truly believe that even though we've just met, I know that you have that commitment, that passion, that dedication, because you've changed so many people's lives already. And by being part of this show, you've changed my life too. So thank you for that. I do want to share your Facebook page as well for people to be able to follow you there. Let's take a look. So not only are you helping change people's lives because of this collaboration book project and your own books that you've written yourself, but you are also helping people to realize that they can be creative and they can be successful entrepreneurs. Mandy, thank you so much. What would you like to share that I have not asked you today?
I suppose, I would say to everybody, really truly believe in yourself, and how you do anything is how you do everything. So do everything well.
That's beautiful. I love that. I have little tears in my eyes from that. Thank you. All right, Mandy, an absolute pleasure. Congratulations again for all your success. And please do come back and see us in the future, because I know there's multiple projects. I'm actually going to the UK next month, but maybe we can get together. We'll have a chat about that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again. We have all your socials out there. We're just going to put them up again one more time. So we've got your 2 websites. We've got the LinkedIn. We also have shared your Facebook page. Any other socials that you like people to know about?
I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm X. Sorry, not Twitter anymore, is it? It's X. You can find me pretty much anywhere. If you type in Mandy Nicholson, I'm going to be there.
All right. Thank you, Mandy. I truly enjoyed meeting you, and I wish you continued happiness and success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Well, everyone, thank you. Whether you're watching or listening on the live or the replay, please do reach out to Mandy. Obviously, she has helped change people's lives and giving that confidence that's so important for all of us, because as I shared and as Mandy shared as well, there are always challenges in life. And sometimes we question ourselves and we get so sucked into the minutia or the depression about why did this happen to me, instead of looking, what can I learn from this? So Mandy's a true professional. She's got these fabulous retreats, and you just go to her website. I want to share it again. Let me bring it up. Here we go. Oh, there's a shop, by the way. I meant to say something to Mandy about that. I love this. There's an online shop. Let me see if I can bring her back if she's still there. Okay, she's still here. Mandy, sorry to bring you back. Tell us about this shop that you have. I didn't mention this before.
Well, I am an artist as well as an author, and I do paint. So my shop has prints of my work, original work. My books are on there from Amazon, planners and things. So yeah, I sell things as well.
And you know what? That's an additional show that we have to have you back for, because that's something that's not easy to master for people. Mm-mm. So that takes a certain mindset, the right people on your team, and the right vision. So hopefully you'll come back and share more about that as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you. We're going to go over to our sponsors. Please stay tuned. Our next show is coming up. It's Royal Breaking News from London. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm children's author Diane Floyd Bain, and I am co-host for several of the USA Global TV and radio shows. I joined because of the purpose of the USA Global TV and radio. They provide content for the viewers and listeners, an opportunity for people around the world to have their own show or even be a guest on an existing show. We truly believe in helping others get their positive message out to the world. We also have the opportunity for the listeners. You can watch on several platforms, and on YouTube, you can ask questions and even give a comment. We absolutely love it. I love being part of the USA Global TV and radio because I love positive messages, and who doesn't? And we need more of that in the world. We are a family, and we hope you will join us and become part of the family too.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.